Hello and welcome, welcome to Aidan Eyewitness. My first Cork video did very well, great feedback and lots of new subscribers. It's time to return, and I'm trying out a new format in which I combine my usual building tour, including neglected modern architecture, with a what-if scenario drawing on my German experience. So it's down to Terminal 3, through security and onto flight FR 580, departing at 6:50.
Runway to runway, it's 50 minutes until we land at Cork Airport. From our collection, here's a superb John Hine postcard from the 1960s, with the iconic old control tower and an Aer Lingus Viscount. Here's the Ryanair Boeing 737 that got me here today. And if they're going to demolish and redevelop the old part of the airport, I say keep that control tower. We'll take the 226 bus to Kent Station in Cork city centre. Here's a very rare piece of early railway technology, a steam engine from 1847. It's an original, not a reconstruction, built by Berry, Curtis and Kennedy of Liverpool. Number 36. It hauled trains between Cork and Dublin at up to 60 miles per hour. It's great to see a piece of Ireland's and Liverpool's railway heritage on display right here in the station. The train to Dublin is now departing, but we're going in the other direction to the seaside town of Cobh. During the 30-minute train ride, we enjoy spectacular views over water, islands, inlets and coastal towns. It's cloudy today. This station mural is a reminder of blue skies. I hope I can make the images in this video look good despite the weather. In Cobh, the first thing we see is the statue of Annie Moore and her two brothers. She was the first person to arrive at the Ellis Island Immigrant Receiving Facility, New York, on New Year's Eve, 1891. My dad sailed to New York from Cobh in the late 20s. We can imagine the liner heading out towards the Atlantic with my dad on board. He returned a few years later. The waterfront features pastel-painted facades, a strong feature of the townscape. From the harbour, there's the classic view of Cobh with the cathedral up on the hill. At home, we had a painting of this scene. My mother bought it in a second-hand shop. It reminded my dad of his voyage to New York during the Prohibition era, about which he told me many stories. Cobh, once known as Queenstown, is filled with heritage on every corner. Maritime heritage, Irish history, the Titanic, the Lusitania, the Easter Uprising, the War of Independence. But my interest is what we call in German the Stadtbild, the appearance of a town or city as you walk through it. That definition from Wikipedia. In Cobh, there are very few modern buildings. The only ones I came across are a parish centre, an employment hub and some garages. So let's focus on the Stadtbild. The colours, the textures, the building styles, all inherited from times past, all wonderfully nostalgic, with vistas across water and along steep 18th century streets, now filled with 21st century cars. And we'll pay a quick visit to St Colman's Cathedral. That name has nothing to do with a brand of mustard or the sports presenter David Colman, born in Alderley Edge near Manchester, and whose family came from County Cork. The cathedral was built between 1868 and 1919 and was named after an Irish saint, Colman, the one that came from Cloyne, County Cork. These houses are famous. They're seen in countless photographs. With their plain design and pastel colours, they look contemporary, but they were built around 1850. They're called the deck of cards houses because it said if you took away the house at the bottom, the rest would topple over. There are two viewpoints from Spy Hill above with a full view of the cathedral. Today's not the best weather. Sunny would be better in the afternoon when the sun's in the west. But we'll just have to do the best we can. One way to get a blue sky and some bright colours is to do a drawing. It was too cold to do one on the day, so I traced this one back at home. I thought it would make a nice stamp. The small size conceals my very sketchy drawing style. The other view is from West View Amenity Garden, halfway up the hill. I waited until 11 AM for the bells. The cathedral has a carillion of 49 bells, more than any other in Ireland or Great Britain. The biggest in Europe is the one in Halle, eastern Germany, with 76 bells. The street is named West View, and the deck of cards houses are on the Google map. One of these houses came up for sale a couple of years ago for a guide price of €275,000. Looks like a great place to live if you don't mind steep hills, curious photographers and church bells. There are many elegant buildings in Cobh. This one reminds me a little of Portmeirion in North Wales. And here's one way of fixing a shortage of shops in town centres. Paint one. For me, the most memorable aspect of this Stadtbild of Cobh is those pastel colours. Now it's time to leave Cobh and return to Cork Kent Station. Next to it, in total contrast to Cobh, totally modern with a smooth black exterior, it's the Dean Hotel, designed by Wilson Architecture. You have to move around it to understand the shape, definitely not a boring glass box. Now is the exciting moment when we return to Horgan's Quay to see how construction is progressing on those 3 residential blocks in front of the Dean Hotel. When I was here in June 2022, this is how the empty site looked. Today it looks like this. Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was Cork. So let's continue along the River Lee and on to the Crawford Gallery. This building has changed and developed with the history of Cork. First it was the Custom House, later an art school and art gallery. It's an institution of national and international standing, with a rich and varied collection. After previous expansion plans stalled, an extension was completed in 2000, designed by Dutch architect Erik van Egeraat. He designed the Leipzig University Hall, built on the site of the church destroyed by the communist authorities in 1968. But in 2023, there are new plans, including a taller structure with views over the city. I heard about this on Arena, the excellent cultural show on RTE Radio 1. That's why I decided to return to Cork and make this video. Whilst at the gallery, I saw some astonishing watercolour illustrations by Irish artist Harry Clarke. They inspired me to do some more drawing, including the sketch we saw earlier. Next door to the Crawford Art Gallery is another top-level cultural institution, the Cork Opera House, housed in a modern building first opened in 1965 and renovated in 2000. The old Opera House was built in 1855 and burned down on its 100th anniversary in 1955. It was caused by an electrical fault. Today's Cork Opera House is a busy venue with lots of shows. Next door we find another modern building wrapped around an older building, as we've seen previously in Cork. Just across the river from here is one of Cork's most famous landmarks, the Church of St Anne, home to the Bells of Shandon, built in 1726. To me, the tower looks similar to certain types of minaret, especially the one on the Great Mosque of Carillion in Tunisia. Let's admire the scenes along the River Lee as we make our way eastwards to one of the architectural highlights of Cork, though few tourists go there. But as I said in my previous Cork video, Aidan Eyewitness takes you to the parts of the city that other videos don't reach. The bridges are a key feature of the city and range from contemporary to old and very old. And there it is in the distance, one of Cork's most prominent and least photographed landmarks. After a walk from the station of 4 kilometres, 2.5 miles, we have arrived at the architectural high point of Cork. Well, the modern architectural high point of Cork. Standing to the west of the city, a modernist-style tower that reminds me, frankly, of the architecture of East Germany. What's that circular insignia on the sign over there? Ah yes, it's the symbol of Cork County Council, founded in 1899. Though located within the boundaries of Cork City, this building serves the county of Cork outside. It's the biggest county in Ireland. It was constructed between 1965 and 1968. Architect Patrick McSweeney, the then Cork County architect. And here's how it looked after completion. It originally had concrete tracery on the exterior. It stands close to the River Lee. Here's the river today. And what are those buildings on the hillside? They are the former psychiatric hospital, now Atkins Hall Apartments. Walking back towards County Hall, we can see a new development for students. Places where you belong, novelstudent.com. Novel Students Bottle Works, opening for the 2023-24 academic year. But now back to the future, or a 1960s vision of it. Yes, it reminds me of the Interhotel Potsdam, completed in 1969, or maybe the House of Culture and Education, Neubrandenburg, 1965. After German reunification, both were renovated, and the same thing happened in the 2000s with Cork County Hall. And let's switch to black and white. It seems appropriate, and it's another response to the lack of sunshine. The concrete tracery was replaced by an exterior glass skin. The conservation organisation Antashka protested against that. New buildings were added on both sides, all in the style of the modernist Bauhaus, the school based in Dessau, southwest of Berlin. And that made me think, what if? What if Ireland became Bundesrepublik Irland, the Federal Republic of Ireland? Cork could be the capital of the federal state of Munster, though Limerick might have something to say about that. And by the way, the name Munster has nothing to do with the city of Münster in Germany. Each German federal state has a Ministerpräsident or Prime Minister. So would that mean that Ireland would have a total of maybe 6 PMs or Taoiseach? No, that title would be reserved for the top job, like Chancellor in Germany. Bundeskanzler. In the federal state of Munster, there would be a First Minister with a cabinet, many politicians across the political spectrum, and an army of civil servants, all based in these and other buildings. Cork would officially become a European regional capital, an opportunity to fill the democratic deficit, or an opportunity to fill up on the government gravy train. Maybe the status quo is the best, for now. So let's take one last gaze up at this modernist masterpiece. These two figures, named Two Workers, unveiled in 1969, were sculpted by Oisin Kelly, who, like me, studied languages at Trinity College Dublin. I'd love to see the interior of Cork County Hall and go up to the top to admire the view. Oh, and one more reference point, Sunley Tower, or City Tower, Piccadilly Plaza, Manchester, completed 1965. And next door there's a new companion for County Hall. It looks like a development of luxury private apartments, but it's Crow's Nest student accommodation, designed by McCulloch Mulvin Architects. And here are some old, typical Irish-style houses, with the new towers behind. For me, a visual metaphor of the old era and the new. We'll take the 220 bus back into the city centre. The city buses in Ireland are owned and operated by state-owned Bus Éireann, or in the capital, Dublin Bus. They seem efficient and reasonably priced, especially when you use the Leap card. It's an integrated system and there are electronic displays at the main stops, tried and abandoned in Manchester. Across the water, in Great Britain, buses were sold off to private operators by the Conservative government in the 1980s. We'll walk from Grand Parade, passing the bronze sculpture of the guitarist Rory Gallagher, or Gallagher. Some of his lyrics are embossed onto the metal. Cork city centre has a lively feel. It's bustling with people, many young and from all over the world. The English market, with its unique arched interior, is renowned for its fresh produce. And I heard quite a few English accents. I found out the reason why St Patrick's Street is curved. In the 18th century it was built over a side channel of the River Lee. In recent years it's been renovated with wider pavements and has won awards as Ireland's best shopping street. These so-called city trees are biotech dust filters that clean the surrounding air using moss. They're made by Green City Solutions, founded in Dresden in the federal state of Saxony. St Patrick's Street looks great. The traditional facades look classy. Stores include Brown Thomas, Marks & Spencer's, Penny's and Dunnes Stores, where I'm going to stock up on the world's best tea, Barry's, made in Cork, and the world's best bread, McCambridge, baked in Dublin. The former Roche's Stores was leased by Debenhams, but they closed in 2020. The Art Deco Savoy Cinema is a reminder of yesteryear. Maybe my dad took my mum to the pictures here. Cork is smallish by European standards, population around 220,000, similar to the coastal city of Lübeck near Hamburg. Compared to Dublin, it's more manageable, less, inflated, more affordable, more laid back, like how I remember Dublin used to be. It's got a fresh attitude, plenty of architectural highlights, world-class cultural and educational institutions, a lively food scene, music, art and creativity galore, set in hilly terrain near an attractive coastline, with some of Ireland's most scenic regions not so far away. At the top of St Patrick's Street is the statue to Father Matthew, the Apostle of Temperance, that's abstinence from alcohol, though I'm not sure how much of that you'll find on a Saturday night in Cork. But I'm going to head back to the airport now. I want to arrive 3 hours before my 10:20 flight, so I can start editing this video on my iPhone in the departure area. The 226 bus took 20 minutes, security 2 minutes, the flight slightly delayed, 51 minutes in the air, back at home base well before midnight. I hope you found this video interesting, maybe a little bit thought-provoking. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, post a comment and share with people you think might find it interesting. You can support what I'm doing via the Ko-Fi page. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und auf Wiedersehen in Cork.